Take a slow breath and allow your heart to become still. Perhaps you clicked on this message by accident. Perhaps you were simply scrolling through another ordinary day, carrying burdens that no one else can see. Or perhaps, deep inside, you were quietly hoping for a sign that someone understands the silent battle you have been fighting. If that is you, then listen carefully. This message is for you, not because of coincidence, not because of luck, but because I know exactly where you are. I know the thoughts that keep you awake long after everyone else has fallen asleep. I know the questions you have asked over and over again. Why is this happening? Why do I feel forgotten? Why does it seem like everyone else is moving forward while I remain standing in the same place? My child, I have heard every one of those questions. I have counted every tear that rolled down your face when no one was watching. I have listened to every silent prayer that never reached your lips. You believe that no one notices your pain, but I do. You believe that you are carrying everything alone, but you are not. Even now, while you listen to these words, I am walking beside you. Look back for a moment. Think about every difficult season you have survived. There were days when you believed you would never smile again. Moments when disappointment covered your heart like heavy clouds before a storm. People left, dreams changed, doors closed, plans disappeared. Yet somehow, you are still here. You may call it strength. You may call it luck. But I call it my grace. Every step that you thought you walked alone was a step I carried you through, even when you could not see me, even when you doubted me, even when you wondered if I had forgotten your name. I remained. There is something I want you to understand today. Silence is not absence. When the forest becomes quiet before sunrise, the sun is still coming. When the ocean appears calm, powerful currents continue beneath the surface. When a seed is buried beneath the earth, life is already beginning even though no one can see it. So it is with my work in your life. You have been waiting for answers, waiting for healing, waiting for restoration, waiting for someone to notice how tired you have become. And while you have been waiting, I have been preparing something greater than you imagined. Do not measure my presence by your circumstances. Measure my faithfulness by every moment I have already brought you through. Remember the times you thought everything was over. Remember the nights you cried until you had no tears left. Remember the fears that convinced you tomorrow would never be better. Yet tomorrow came, and then another tomorrow, and another. You survived because I never stopped holding you, my child. There are wounds inside your heart that you rarely speak about. Some were caused by rejection. Some by disappointment, some by words that should never have been spoken, some by silence that lasted too long. You learned to smile while hurting. You learned to tell everyone that you were fine. You learned to carry invisible pain so well that even the people closest to you could no longer see it. But I see it. I always have. Nothing about you is hidden from me. Not your fears, not your regrets, not the mistakes that still haunt your memories. Not the dreams you quietly buried because you were afraid they would never happen. I know them all. And still I love you. Not because you are perfect, not because you have never failed, but because you are mine. There will always be voices trying to convince you that you are not enough, that you started too late, that you have wasted too much time, that your best days are behind you. Do not believe those voices. They speak from fear. I speak from truth. And my truth says that hope is still alive. There is still purpose waiting for you. There is still joy you have not experienced. There are still prayers that are already moving toward their answers. Do not leave your journey simply because you cannot yet see the destination. Walk one more step. Pray one more prayer. Trust one more day. Sometimes the greatest miracle is not a sudden change in circumstances. Sometimes the miracle is discovering peace before anything around you changes. That peace is already reaching toward you now. Can you feel it? Like the warmth of early morning sunlight touching cold ground. Like gentle rain falling after months of drought. Like a quiet whisper saying, "You are safe. You are loved. You are not forgotten." Perhaps no one has spoken those words to you in a very long time. So hear them from me. You matter. Your life matters. Your story matters. Even your scars will one day become evidence of my faithfulness. Do not be ashamed of surviving. Do not be ashamed of needing rest. Do not be ashamed of asking for help. Strong faith does not mean pretending everything is perfect. Strong faith means choosing to trust even when tears are still falling. Today, I ask only one thing from you. Stop carrying tomorrow before tomorrow arrives. Release the weight you were never meant to hold alone. Place every fear into my hands. Every disappointment, every unanswered question, every lonely night, every silent cry. Leave them here with me. Because while you have been trying to hold everything together, I have already been preparing the path ahead. You may not see it yet, but the light is closer than you think. And as the first rays begin to rise over the horizon, a new chapter quietly begins, not with loud miracles or dramatic signs, but with a gentle invitation to take the next step in faith. That step will lead us into a place where waiting becomes hope, and hope begins to transform into healing. The morning light slowly spreads across the horizon. The darkness that seemed endless only moments ago begins to fade, not because someone forced it away, but because light naturally overcomes it. That is how my presence enters your life. Quietly, patiently, faithfully. My child, I know there are moments when you look around and wonder if everyone else has found their place except you. You watch people celebrating new beginnings while you are still waiting for one prayer to be answered. You see smiles while carrying tears that never leave your eyes. You hear stories of miracles and secretly ask yourself, when will it be my turn? Listen carefully. Comparison has stolen more peace than failure ever could. You were never created to walk another person's path. I have written a story that belongs only to you. Every chapter has purpose. Every delay has meaning. Every unexpected turn is leading you somewhere your own plans could never reach. You often ask me for a map, but I offer you my hand. A map tells you where to go. My hand reminds you that you never walk alone. Do not fear the road simply because you cannot see its end. Every sunrise begins before anyone can see the full day. Every river reaches the ocean by flowing one step at a time. Every mighty tree once appeared as nothing more than a hidden seed beneath dark soil. Growth often happens in places where no one is watching, including you. You think nothing is changing. Yet every difficult day has made your heart kinder. Every disappointment has taught you compassion. Every unanswered prayer has deepened your ability to trust. You are becoming the person you once prayed to become. Transformation is rarely loud. It happens quietly, like leaves changing color, like snow melting into spring, like healing that begins long before pain completely disappears. Perhaps today you still carry regrets. You replay conversations that ended badly. You remember opportunities you missed. You wonder if one wrong decision changed everything forever. Release those thoughts. I am not standing behind you counting failures. I am standing before you preparing a future. Do not build a home inside yesterday. There is nothing there that can give you life. There are people who wounded you. Some apologized. Some never will. Some have forgotten the pain they caused while you still remember every detail. Forgiveness does not say the wound never happened. Forgiveness simply refuses to let yesterday control tomorrow. The chains you continue to hold are also the chains that hold you. Set them down. Not because others deserve it, but because your heart deserves freedom. You have spent too much time believing that healing must happen all at once. It does not. Healing often arrives one peaceful moment at a time. One deep breath, one quiet prayer, one beautiful sunrise, one unexpected smile, one kind stranger, one verse remembered in the middle of the night, one small step forward. And suddenly, months later, you realize you are no longer standing where pain left you. You are standing where hope found you. There are blessings already moving toward your life that you cannot yet see. Conversations taking place that will open new doors. People preparing to encourage you. Opportunities slowly finding their way to your path. Strength growing inside you while you believe you have none left. Nothing is wasted in my hands. Not your tears, not your waiting, not your loneliness. Even the nights you thought were empty became moments where your soul learned to hear my voice more clearly than the noise of the world. The world tells you to hurry, to achieve more, to become more, to prove your worth. But I invite you to slow down. Look at the birds that never worry about tomorrow. Look at the flowers that bloom without competing against one another. Look at the waves that never rush and still reach every shore. Creation trusts me without fear, and so can you. Maybe today you feel invisible. You entered rooms where no one noticed. You carried responsibilities without recognition. You loved people who never loved you the same way. You gave everything and received silence in return. Still, I saw every act of kindness, every sacrifice, every unseen moment of faithfulness. Nothing done with love is ever forgotten. The world measures success by applause. I measure it by faithfulness. Continue being gentle in a harsh world. Continue choosing hope in fearful places. Continue speaking kindness where anger is easier. Continue believing when doubt seems louder. Because every seed of goodness you plant will one day become shade for someone who desperately needs rest. Do not underestimate quiet lives. The brightest stars shine without making noise. The strongest roots grow in complete darkness. The deepest faith often develops through seasons no one else understands. If you could see what I see, you would stop calling yourself behind. You would realize that every closed door protected you from something you were never meant to carry. Every delay redirected you towards something better. Every goodbye created space for the people who will stay. One day you will look back and discover that what felt like abandonment was actually guidance. What felt like silence was preparation. What felt like loss became freedom. So keep walking, even if the path is covered in fog. Keep praying, even if words are difficult to find. Keep believing, even if nothing around you has changed yet, because faith is not seeing the destination. Faith is taking another step while trusting that I already know the way. And as your heart begins to release fear and welcome peace, something gentle starts to awaken inside you. A quiet confidence, a hope that no circumstance can steal. A light that grows stronger with every step. That light will carry you into the next chapter, where broken places are restored, weary souls find rest, and the promise of healing finally becomes something you can not only believe, but truly live. Take another slow breath. Notice how different your heart feels from the moment this journey began. The weight may not have disappeared completely, the questions may not all have answers, the road ahead may still contain unknown turns, yet something inside you has changed. Hope has quietly returned, and hope is one of the greatest gifts I have ever placed within the human soul. My child, you have spent so much of your life waiting for the perfect moment to finally feel at peace. You believed peace would arrive when every problem was solved, when every relationship was restored, when every bill was paid, when every prayer received the answer you expected. But true peace has never depended on perfect circumstances. True peace is my presence remaining with you even when the storm continues. Look at the sea after a night of heavy wind. The surface slowly becomes calm again, not because the ocean has disappeared, but because it remembers how to rest. Your soul was also created to rest, not in success, not in approval, not in possessions, but in my love. There will always be another challenge, another uncertainty, another season that asks more questions than it answers. Do not fear those seasons. The same hands that carried you yesterday will carry you tomorrow. The same voice that comforted you in loneliness will guide you through every new beginning. You often ask me for signs. Yet every sunrise is already a sign. Every breath you take is evidence that purpose still lives within you. Every heartbeat is another invitation to keep going. Nothing about your life is ordinary. Even the smallest act of kindness creates ripples that travel farther than you will ever know. The smile you almost didn't share. The forgiveness you almost withheld. The encouraging words you almost kept to yourself. Those moments become light inside someone else's darkness. Never underestimate quiet faithfulness. The world celebrates loud victories. Heaven celebrates faithful hearts. Today, I want you to release something you have carried for far too long. Release the belief that you are behind. You are not late. You are growing at the pace your soul requires. A flower does not apologize for blooming in spring instead of winter. The stars never compete with the sunrise. The river never rushes to become the ocean. Everything arrives in its appointed season, and so will you. Perhaps someone watching this message feels exhausted from pretending to be strong. You smile in public. You encourage everyone else. You carry responsibilities without complaint. But when the room becomes quiet, your heart whispers, "I don't know how much longer I can do this." Hear me now. You do not have to carry everything alone. Lay your burdens down. Bring me your anxiety. Bring me your disappointment. Bring me your fear of the future. Bring me your hidden tears. You were never created to survive by your own strength. You were created to walk with mine. There are people I am already preparing to cross your path. Friendships that will restore your joy. Conversations that will renew your courage. Opportunities that will remind you why you never gave up. Blessings often arrive quietly, like gentle rain after a season of drought. Do not overlook small miracles while waiting for spectacular ones. A peaceful morning, a message from an old friend, a child laughing, a bird singing outside your window, a moment of unexpected stillness. These are reminders that I am constantly near. Sometimes you ask, "God, why did you allow me to go through so much?" Because compassion grows where suffering once lived. Because wisdom grows where mistakes were forgiven. Because faith becomes unshakable after surviving storms. One day someone else will feel exactly as lonely as you once did. And your story will become the bridge that leads them back to hope. Nothing has been wasted. Not one tear. Not one sleepless night. Not one silent prayer. I have been weaving every moment into something beautiful, even when you could only see broken pieces. So stop measuring your future by your past. Stop measuring your worth by people's opinions. Stop measuring your value by temporary success. You are valuable because you are loved. You are chosen. You are seen. You are remembered. Even when the world moves too quickly to notice you, I never look away. If today you are standing at the edge of uncertainty, take one more step. If today you are surrounded by fear, choose one more prayer. If today you feel completely alone, remember these words: "You have never walked a single mile without me." Even in your darkest valley, I was there. Even in your greatest disappointment, I remained beside you. Even in your silence, I heard every unspoken cry. And I will continue walking with you long after this message ends. Now lift your eyes. Look beyond regret. Look beyond fear. Look beyond everything that tried to convince you your story was over. The horizon is brighter than it has ever been. The sun is rising again. The path before you is not perfect, but it is filled with purpose. Walk it with courage. Walk it with gentleness. Walk it knowing that every step is held by grace. And whenever loneliness returns and whispers that no one understands your heart, remember this moment. Remember this promise. Remember this truth that will never change. You are not forgotten. You are not abandoned. You are deeply loved. You are surrounded by a peace that the world cannot take away. And today, if you happen to find this message, perhaps it was never an accident at all. Perhaps heaven simply wanted to remind you that even in the quietest moments of your life, someone has always been walking beside you, guiding your steps, carrying your burdens, and preparing a future filled with hope, healing, and a love that will never leave you.